Hello there, Mark W. here,
And Rob Bob.
and here we're doing a video that is unrelated to Tunnels and Trolls for once, but it is related to games as usual. I got in the mail or FedEx delivered my latest acquisition to my game collection, which is the Fantasy Trip by Steve Jackson Games. Steve Jackson Games had a Kickstarter for the Fantasy Trip, which is a role-playing game that Steve Jackson designed in the, I guess the late 70s or early 80s. And there was a Kickstarter for it. This is not the ultra big box, although it's still a pretty big box, as you can see. There was the I Want It All box, which was even bigger than this. That cost $110. I decided that was more than I'm willing to spend. The one I got is the $60 level one, which includes most things, but it does not include all the deluxe goodies, I guess. I don't exactly know all the differences. I mostly actually wanted to get this less for the role-playing game and mostly for the companion games. There's two of them. One is called Melee, and one is called Wizard, and they're kind of tactical combat games. But I also like reading through role-playing books too. Even though my role-playing game of choice is pretty much Tunnels and Trolls, I could possibly use an adventure or two and adapt them to Tunnels and Trolls, or maybe one day we'll actually play the Fantasy Trip. So now you know what we have here, Rob Bob.
Yep.
Do you want to see the contents?
Sure.
All right, let's open it up. Got my handy pocket knife. Here's a leather man. I've seen a lot of posts on the Facebook group for the Fantasy Trip, in which everybody seems to have gotten the I Want It All pack that cost $110, and I was not willing to pay that much, so I paid $60 for this. Hopefully, it's still a good amount of goodies. By the way, we're using our new tripod, so we have that set up on our dining room table. This way, our camera stays steady. Anyway, let's see what we got here.
And you have two hands to.
I have two hands, yes.
Do whatever you're doing.
Wow, the main box is pretty big.
That's.
Here we are. Oh, that's all I have. I was expecting kind of different boxes for Melee and Wizard and whatever else.
Why did they pack it so funny?
But it's just one big box. Ta-da!
The Fantasy Trip.
Why does it show up backward on my camera, on my phone?
Does it? No.
Maybe when we play back, it doesn't actually.
I think it rewrites it. So.
Fixes itself.
Yeah.
When it saves the video. All right, whatever. So this is the game. This is about a foot tall, probably more than a foot tall.
Like a foot and a half.
And not a foot and a half, but yeah, it's pretty thick too. You can see it's a big box. So let's open it up and see what else we got here. I guess I'll bring out the knife again. I just have to cut through some shrink wrap. It should be easy.
Just shrink wrap.
So Steve Jackson Games, for your information, Rob Bob, is a company that I played a lot of games that they made in the 80s. They had, my favorite was GURPS, which was a role-playing game. GURPS stands for Generic Universal Role-Playing System.
Okay.
And I also played a cartoon role-playing game they made called Toon, where you were cartoon characters in a Warner Brothers kind of world. I always heard about the Fantasy Trip, and in particular Melee and Wizard, and I always wanted to try them, but I never got the chance. I think it was out of print at the time. So when I heard they were remaking this, I said, yeah, what the hey, I'll just get in on that action. Oh, this is quite a mighty box.
Even has like a comic or something on the side.
Okay, we have the cover off. You can see it does have some kind of illustration on the side. I believe this is Liz Danforth's art. Liz Danforth is one of the primary artists for Tunnels and Trolls, actually, and she actually does the Fantasy Trip as well as Magic the Gathering and whatever else she does. So I'll read this first.
All right.
Should we read it? Let's read this first. Trying to make it fit in the camera frame. Let's see what it says. Welcome to the Fantasy Trip, and thanks for your support. We have a lot of things in here for you. Where should you start? My suggestion is check out the erasable character cards. Okay, this is for if you want to jump in and play, basically. They suggest finding another player and playing Melee with the pre-generated characters. Then you can add Wizard. Then you can play the solo death test. So we have a solo adventure like Tunnels and Trolls, which maybe we'll try sometime.
These characters are. Is that really only 4 attributes?
Yep, there's only 4 attributes. It's similar to GURPS, which I'm familiar with. I think this game might have actually been a precursor to GURPS, like it inspired GURPS. In GURPS, you had strength, dexterity, IQ, and health. In this game, you have strength, dexterity, IQ, and MA. I don't actually know what MA means.
Magic, probably?
Yeah, that's a good guess. Anyway, I think we have a genuine Steve Jackson signature here. And this little pyramid represents their game. It's kind of an icon of the company. The game Illuminati, which I used to play in the 80s as well, and the 90s a bit. Steve Jackson games, their biggest seller is a game called Munchkin, which I am actually not a fan of, but you can't win them all, I guess. But I don't know, other people seem to disagree since it's such a hot seller. So here we have, let's see, we have the game they suggest you play first, which is called Melee.
The fantasy tree.
This is a small box, and it has some counters to represent the monsters and characters in the game, and a little mat with hexes on it. Basically, you move pieces around a hex mat, and you fight and stuff. Alright, so that's Melee. And Wizard is similar to Melee, except I believe it introduces magic. Again, I haven't played these games, so I'm just speculating and going by what I've heard. Here's the back to Wizard. What is that? That's a cool looking dragon. I think Liz Danforth did these counters as well.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Alright, and next up we have Death Test, which is the solo adventure. The Thors wants you. I don't know who the Thors is. This is 2 programmed adventures for use with the Fantasy Trip, Melee, and Wizard. Here's the back. Got like a fat troll or something here. And a blob creature here. And these guys, I've seen pictures of these guys. They're like octopus warriors or something. I don't know what you call them. All right. Continue going through this box. Let's see. Should I try to stand this box upright, or will all the stuff fall out?
It might. Maybe.
Here's more. I'll hold it up with my hands. I have. The glare is kind of bad. That's pretty good, I guess.
Even comes with some dice.
Here we have a couple dice that are kind of neat colors. I like them.
I have them too.
Just 6-sided dice. I believe this game just uses 6-sided dice, like our beloved Tunnels and Trolls. I'm adjusting the camera a little bit. Maybe that's a little better. All right, what else we got? We have a big cardboard spacer here. We don't care about that. Here are some cards. I don't know what they are.
They're fighter card instructions.
Fighter card instruction. Okay, I'm sure there's all different cards in this. They're probably like reference cards. Here we have the character pads. See, in this game, you have very small character sheets, I guess.
It's very small compared to small controls.
Here's a slightly bigger one. This might be for Fantasy Trip, whereas maybe this one is for Melee and or Wizard. Actually, this one had a space for spells, so this might be for Wizard as well.
And talents.
Talents, yes. So here's our cardboard spacer that we don't care about. What else we got here? I don't know what this is. It looks like a briefcase or something. It's like a cardboard briefcase almost. Maybe it's actually a folder to hold all your stuff. I could open that up, but I don't think I will right now. I want to keep this video kind of brief. What else do we have? We have
a map.
Southern Elintia. This is a map of some kind of land, probably for the role-playing game, not for Melee or Wizard, I would guess. Here we have
the
GM screen with one of those cool octopus warrior thingies and some skeletons. It's more than just a screen. Wow, that's pretty interesting. It's kind of thick. It looks like a book almost. More than just a screen. Oh, I think it's just really thick. Wow. I don't know if you can see that on the camera.
even if you have X-ray vision, you can't see.
Let's check out this back art. Here we have some sort of castle that looks like the octopus creatures.
The octopus creatures like the main bad guys.
I really don't know. I'm totally unfamiliar with this game except for some things I've heard and read. I've never really dug into it because I've never had it.
Okay.
All right, what else we got? Oh, this must be the full role-playing game character sheet because it is much bigger.
Yeah, that's probably. Maybe these ones over there, like, I don't like.
I think this is for wizard, and this is for melee essentially. So we can incorporate melee and wizard into our game days, and maybe one day we'll play the real fantasy trip too.
What is that?
So we don't have any immediate plans. Here we have some kind of map again. This one has tiny hexes and a lot of different colors.
And some.
The color key is at the bottom, apparently. I can't really read it right now.
Level
The way
1,
I'm
level
holding
2,
this.
level 3, level 4, level 5, and level 6. They're all.
Okay, different levels. All right. Next up, we have Tolankar's Lair. Tolankar's Lair, which I believe is an adventure for the fantasy trip.
And another one of those same things on the back.
Here is what I can only guess is the full manual. Yeah, it's pretty big.
That is pretty big.
And here's the back. You can take a quick flip through this maybe. It has a lovely index in the back. I see maps. I guess I should hold it for the camera a little better. Start with the front. How about Fantasy Trip in the Labyrinth? Is that an adventure? I don't even know.
So this might be an adventure?
I think this is the whole manual.
Yeah, this would be.
Here we have contents that talks about role playing, designing a labyrinth, creating character, advanced combat, all kinds of things. Here's a section on about playing.
Has some stories inside about the world of Sidri.
The world of Sidri, yes. Sidri. Here's a cool dragon. All right. So it seems like a typical kind of role-playing book. Nothing new to me, but it looks like it's well done and well illustrated. Here we have some spells. We can't see it on the camera at the moment. Here's a guy getting shot by arrows and they bounce off of him.
It says below it, Iron Flesh, similar to Stone Flesh, but better subject body. Stop 6 hits per attack.
Okay. All right, so we'll leave it at that. What else we got here? This is I don't know what it is.
The
Mega hexes.
Okay. With mega hexes.
Let's take out the mega hexes box.
That's
It's very tight in the main box.
Oh, it looks tight.
So fortunately, they give you these holes to put your fingers in to pull it out.
That's good. You'll have to try to stick your probably better in the box if you.
Here it is. I apologize if I'm not always centered or I have the box sticking off camera sometime. We are not professionals. We're just doing this for fun, and we like to make videos and share them.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh.
Here we have a really cool dragon. And this dragon, I wonder if we know who illustrated this. Is this Danforth? Not really sure. Doesn't say.
Looks like
Doesn't have a signature. It's a cool piece though. It's very big.
Looks like if you flip it over, there is something to symbolize that it's dead.
Yes, I guess on the reverse side, you flip it over to indicate that it's a corpse. So we're getting to the bottom of this. We have some large hexes, which I guess you construct the map with, and you would put this kind of counter on. Presumably there's more counters coming up, because I think you would need more than just a big dragon.
Maybe it's probably more. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe some more counters.
Is it supposed to? Looks. That already came out in the box.
Yeah, this one came out. That's right. Some more hexes for the map.
For hexing. The hexes.
Okay, so I don't know. It's only the dragon for the big hexes. I guess you just used little counters for the rest.
Maybe.
All right, so we went over everything. Actually, what do we have counters? Maybe they're in the fancy trip and melee box.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, probably
I'm
so.
dropping stuff everywhere. Okay. Why don't we take a peek in melee quick, and then we'll call it a video because this is running a bit long.
Alright.
Gotta save this because it has the amazing Steve Jackson's signature. All right, let's take a peek inside melee. Maybe there's counters in here.
Okay.
Let's see. Where did I put my knife? It's on the table here somewhere.
Oh,
All right, I'll just peel it with my hand. That's fine.
I don't know.
That's fine.
Turn up eventually.
Okay, this is a very light box, by the way. I don't expect there to be big counters in here now that I'm thinking about it.
Alright. So what is in there?
We have some more lovely looking dice. These are red.
Very similar to these. Or to one of these.
Yep, it's
not all.
similar as the last one, the red one in the last package. It has a Ziploc bag that's empty. It has the rule book, Fantasy Trip Melee. Oh, it has a. Okay, here we go. Here are some counters.
There. Yeah, so it is in there.
So here we have a baggie full of counters. There's a few layers. There's about 5 of these. But I'm not going to open this bag at this time. So what do we have? We have some. It looks like knights and warriors and things.
I think the letters must stand for something.
Yeah, the K is probably knight. S is maybe
Swordsman.
swordsman. Yeah. R could be ranger. I don't know. Just speculating.
Yeah.
And here, what is this? This is a map, I guess. I know if you got the I Want It All level, you would get a big battle map that was, I think, vinyl or something really nice like that. But again, I opted not to get too out of hand with my Kickstarter purchase.
You probably still want it all, but you're not going to pay all that.
I wouldn't mind getting it all, but I decided to be a little frugal. So this is the map that you play melee on. I have a nice plexiglass sheet that I would probably put on top of this for when I play, because that's what's. It's good to use that for foldable paper maps. That way you don't have to worry about the creases and that kind of stuff. Yeah, all right, so that's about everything. I'm not going to open Wizard. Let's open a Wizard. Let's get crazy. Let's put this melee stuff back in the box. So it's getting out of hand. I've got books and cardboard everywhere.
Maybe we'll play some of this on this channel.
Maybe.
Possibly.
All right, I'm going to open Wizard, and then we'll call it a video for real. I have a feeling this is going to be very similar to Melee, except we'll see different counters for different kinds of combatants that we can play with. There'll probably be some wizards. How about that?
Probably.
Okay. Here we go. Here's Wizard. Let's open it up.
Inside of the wizards.
Again, we have a baggie for containing all the counters, I guess, and we have blue dice. I guess the blue is for Wizard, and the red is for Melee.
That makes sense.
It matches the colors of the box. Again, we have a rule book, same size. We have the mat again with all the hexes on it. And this looks the same, except is it a different color? I think it is, right?
I guess. I think so.
It looks about like the
I
same
think the other
thing.
one was black. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not going to unfold it all the way and everything.
People who are watching looks like there's some different hexes with stars instead of dots.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you flip this part over.
Okay, I will open it.
Yeah.
Well.
This in here.
All right, we're opening it up.
Opening all that now. Right here on top of there.
Okay, some of them have stars.
That's.
You can see on the video.
Maybe that's where you start or something.
Could be, or it could have to do with magic. Anyway, let's look at the good part, the counters. Here we go. Do we have wizards and stuff? Yes, we do.
Yeah, so I don't know, elf maybe?
I'm not even going to speculate on what these letters mean.
And some looks like black somethings. I don't know.
Yeah, these might be like if you cast some spell that leaves a barrier, or maybe this represents darkness or something like that. Here you have some staffs or staves, as I often hear them called. All right. And here's the back of the pack. Again, I'm not going to open the whole thing just because I have too much of a mess on my hands as it is. All right, so that's all. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Your hand is not in the camera.
Goodbye.
There we go. All right. Enjoy.